Back for some maths. We're still focused on time, although we're looking at duration of time. And we're going to be consolidating some of our learning today, so we're going to be looking at bringing back in our known facts and our knowledge of 12 and 24 hour time. So duration is all about how much time's elapsed, and as you can see I've got some various questions, and on the left hand side are all the start points and on the right hand side are the end points. And we want to work out how much time has it taken to get from here to there. That's the duration, so the bit in the middle. Now depending on the question, it might be that you're using a range of mental maths, or we'll look at some written strategies. As you can see, because we've been focusing on 12 and 24 hour, that's what I've got as my questions, but you might also get them represented in words or using analogue clocks for you to work from. But the same principle applies, that it's about the start time and then how much has taken to get to the end time. So here you can see I'm looking at 24 hour time, and I've got a nice question because I've got to go from 9 to 14, or 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or 1400 hours. So I'm just going to count in hours because there's no minutes, there's none there and there's none there. So almost already a double check for my answer is I shouldn't have any minutes, because it's all about going from a whole hour to another whole hour. So I'm starting at 9 o'clock and I'm going to count to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1300 hours, 1400 hours. So my answer is 5 hours. No minutes. I don't need to write that there's no minutes. So to get from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, it takes 5 hours. And again, I'm going to leave it as 24 hour time because they both are. I'll just know that that is 2 p.m. as well. Here I've got 12 hour time because it's showing PM and there's not a 0 in front here or here. However, now I haven't got minutes there, but I have here, so I should expect my answer to have both hours and minutes. So I'm going to start from 7 p.m. and I'm going to get to the nearest hour, which is 9. So I'm going to count from 7 to 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's just 2. So that's 2 hours. But remember, that isn't my answer, because 9 o'clock isn't my kind of end point. 7's my start point, but it's actually 9:30. So in 2 hours time from our start point, it'll be 9 p.m. But I need that extra 30 minutes. So it'll be 2 hours and 30 minutes as my answer. And that's how I've got from this time to that time. That's start point to end point. Now, for some questions you can use mental maths like I have, and just be really patient and take your time and think about starting from a whole hour and then transitioning and thinking about those minutes. However, here I'm not starting at whole hours, and I'm going to have to hold a lot more numbers in my head. So instead, our written strategy is I'm going to draw a number line with my start point on the left, which is 10:40, and my end point, which is 13:30. Now they're both in 24 hour time because that's a number that's greater than 12, and here there isn't an AM or PM. So I'm going to leave them. I don't need to make any changes. It's important that if they are the same, as long as you understand them, leave them the same. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I need to count my way up to this end time over here, but I'm going to get to my nearest hour first, because I'm going to count in different sections. So after 10 o'clock, we have 11 o'clock. So I'm going to get to my nearest whole hour, and I can't go backwards. Because remember, if I go backwards, I'm going to get further away from my end point. So, using our known facts now, so 60 minutes in an hour. I've had 40 minutes. How many do I need to get to a whole hour? Well, I need another 20 to get to 60. So I'm going to add on 20 minutes. So I'm just going to abbreviate it as well, but it is important I identify whether they're minutes or hours, and that will help my adding up at the end. Now I'm at a whole hour. I can count in whole hours. I need to get to 1300 hours, or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to go 11, 12, 13. Nice and easy. So that was my goal. It was 1300 hours, and it just took me 2 hours to get there. And we can start to see how it becomes really important to kind of identify whether they're minutes or hours, because I wouldn't want an answer of 22 to get from that time to that time, because that would be incorrect. And again, I abbreviated the minutes, I've abbreviated the hours with HRS. So again, like the second question here, that's not my end point, but I'm at the whole hour of the end, so now I just need to add on how many minutes there are, and there's 30. So I'm going to add on 30 minutes. And now I need to put it all together. Now fortunately, 30 minutes add 20 minutes is 50 minutes, so it's not going to go over the next hour. So my answer is 2 hours and 50 minutes. And again, you can abbreviate your answers as long as you're showing which is which. So hours first, then my minutes. That's how much time happened here. Let's have a look at the next question and see if you can spot kind of the things that stay the same and the differences. So, still going to have our start time, 6:38. It's 24-hour time, as is this. That's very early in the morning, and that's still quite early. So again, we're thinking about what sensible answers are. So if I've essentially gone from near 6:30 to almost 10 o'clock, if I have an answer of 14 hours or something bigger like that, I know it's incorrect. So we think about all the time what are the sensible answers. Now here, I want to get to my nearest whole hour, but here I was just dealing with tens. Here I've got tens and ones. There wasn't any value there. So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do my jump of ones first to get to my next nearest 10. Remember, I'm not going to go backwards. So even if this was 31, I would still go to 40 because we're trying to get further along. So that time would be 6:40. With a jump of just 2 minutes, that's all we need. Now I'm at 6:40. I can now think about my next nearest hour, which is 7. And again, not really happy how I've written that. I'm going to put the 0 in front of it because I'm staying in 24-hour time. So really similar known fact to this one. 40 add 20 gets us to the nearest hour, so I'm going to add 20 minutes. Now I'm at my nearest hour, or I'm at a whole hour. I can count in hours. I need to get from 7 to 9. So 7, 8, 9. I'm just going to add on 2 hours. So 0900 can go there. And the size of the jumps aren't important. Yes, that's quite a big jump for 2 minutes. As long as you're labelling them properly and everything's nice and neat, I wouldn't worry. There's our 2 hours. And I'm just going to be a bit clever at the end. I could do a jump of 50 and 1, but actually, I know if I'm at 0, whatever I add on is whatever I add on. So if I need to get to there, if it's 51, I add on 51. If it's 33, you'd add on 33 because you're starting from 0. So 51 minutes. Now I need to put it all together. And there's a problem, because if I've got 51 minutes and I add just the 20 minutes, that takes me to 71 minutes. And 71 minutes is an amount of time, but when we're representing it as hours and minutes, we can't have a number greater than, well, really 59 in your minutes, because otherwise you just be representing it as another hour. So I'm going to put all my minutes together, and I'm going to be patient and use our column addition to add them together. So I've got my 51, my 20, and my 2. And now you can see again why it's important to label your minutes and hours, because if I added another 2 there, again I'm going to make one of those really silly mistakes. So I should have only had, oh, not that one, and that one. Only the 3 numbers to add together. So I should have 3 minutes and then 70. So 73 minutes. So I'm going to apply my known fact. I'm going to subtract 60 from that amount to leave me with 13. So here I've got 73 minutes, or that 60, remember, is an hour. So I've got an hour and 13 minutes. So just like I did previously, I'm going to put my hours together first because they go at the front. So I've got my 2 hours and my other hour, so that's 3 hours. And then just my minutes, and I've already done that hard work there, just the 13 minutes. Now, I've only used a number line for those bottom 2 questions, but there's nothing stopping you using a number line for every question. It's the same method each time. You just might find for a question like this, it would just be a jump of hours. You might want to get to, if you're putting it in 12-hour time, or like here, you might want to get to 12 and then think about your afternoon hours, but you can still use that number line. Be really patient. Get to your nearest whole hour, or get to your next jump of 10 minutes and then get to the nearest whole hour. It's all about being patient and taking your time. If you make mistakes as well, so you'll double check for these, is if you take your start time and you add your answer to it, it should give you your end time answer. If you find that you've made even a really silly mistake and you've just accidentally got a minute off, if you haven't got any workings out to show, you've got to do that whole question again. Whereas here, because I've been really patient, I've laid it all out, I can go back and tick things off and double check. So I've got to do less work to rectify. So I'd always really encourage you to show workings out, especially with these questions when they can be quite long as well. Because a really silly mistake that people make is they go, okay, I need to get from 6 to 9, and they go 6, 7, 8, 9, and they've got their 3 hours, but then they add their minutes on and their minutes on again, so they're going to end up with an extra hour. So do be patient and show your workings out. Get to that nearest 10 minutes or get to that nearest hour first, then count in whole hours, then count in minutes. So you've got 3 questions to have a go at and a challenge if you would like. Do use those same strategies that we've practiced. First of all, make sure they're the same. The challenge is a challenge for a reason. So if it's 12 hour, make sure they're both. If it's 24, make sure they're both. So draw a number line if you need to. I would encourage you to for all these questions. It's just good practice. So pause the video, have a go, and then we'll look at some answers in a minute. Okay, hopefully you had long enough. So again, you can use mental maths, you can use a combination of that with the written method. I'm just going to explain what I would have done. So I'd have added on the 30 minutes to get to 9 o'clock, then counted on 2 hours to get to 11. So our answer should have been 2 hours, 30 minutes. And of course, you've got a lovely number line representing that. Then I need to get here from 9 AM to 3:15 PM, so it's almost like the school day. It's not far off, so it's quite a long amount of time. So again, a sensible answer. If you got 1 hour something, then we're going to be making mistakes, so think about those sensible answers. So we need to get from 9 to 12, so 9, 10, 11, 12. Then we're back to our PM hours. So we have 1 PM, 2 PM, 3 PM. So I've got 6 hours. But again, my answer's not 3 PM, it was 3:15, so I've got 15 minutes. So again, nice questions to use mental maths, but of course you drew a number line to show that as well. Here, we've got a similar question to that last one I did, where I've got 1s and 10s, so hopefully you got to your nearest 10 amount first, then to your nearest hour, then counted up in hours and added those minutes on as well. So again, we would have got to 1440, then to 1500 hours, then counted to 2100 hours and then added the 15 on. And that would have given you, hopefully, 6 hours, 40 minutes. So again, another question where we didn't actually have to change minutes into hours. We didn't have to do that conversion. The challenge question, though, was a challenge for a reason, because I've got a mix of a 12-hour format and a 24-hour. And it was really nasty because it also went past kind of midnight, 12 o'clock. So whether you made them both 12 or you made them both 24, that wouldn't have mattered because you'd have had the same kind of time distance in between. But here, you needed to add on 2 minutes, then add on a 10 minutes, and that would have taken you to 8. Work your way through to 12 o'clock, then another 3 hours, and then your 25 minutes. And we should have had, it was quite a long amount of time, because it's from quite late at night to very early in the morning, 7 hours and 37 minutes. And you were lucky because again you didn't have to do any of that conversion from minutes to hours. So have a go at creating your own questions. I would encourage you to use 12 and 24 hour time formats depending on how you want to challenge yourself. Keep them the same, or you might want to mix them. You might want to also have written times, so instead of writing 2:35, or instead of kind of writing 14:35, you might instead be thinking about writing 25 to 3 or drawing analog clocks. But either way, it's about having a start time, having an end time and working out how much time has elapsed in between, because that's what our answers are. And that double check, remember, add your answer or count on from your start point the time of your answer, and you should get to the end point. So have a go at creating some of your own and practicing those durations of time.